Are you a beginner filmmaker looking to create your own short film that costs $0 to make? In this video, I'll be briefly going through the step-by-step process and recommendations for no-budget filmmaking, interviewing an experienced filmmaker, and including some behind-the-scenes clips from my new film, The Rescripting of Magnolia Roots. First, you should begin with a concept. Is there an issue in your community that you want to address? Or something that you're really passionate about? Maybe you're set on the genre and style that you want for your film and are able to visualize certain scenes or shots. I'd recommend writing down every idea you have, no matter how crazy or unattainable it may seem. Once you have a concept down, write your script. There's many screenwriting software programs that you can find with a quick search on the internet. Of course, you don't need to use a template or follow the industry's guidelines for formatting, but it can make your script easier to read and understand and give you practice for the future. If you have characters, make sure they are multidimensional and that they experience character development as your story progresses. Then, form the plot or the journey that your characters will go on throughout your story. It's a short film, so each scene should have a purpose. You might feel the need to provide a lengthy backstory or filler scenes, but try your best to keep it short and sweet so your audience stays engaged. And remember, your first draft most likely will not be your final. You'll probably have to go through multiple revisions until you reach a script that you want to move forward with. I would definitely recommend showing your script to friends, families, and advisors in your life who can provide great advice. Especially if this is your first short film, don't worry about making it perfect.
We're finalizing our script today. Today we have Kate here, Liz, and Sophia. I wrote this script and they're all helping me fix it because it's kind of cringy a little bit.
So here is our script for The Rescripting of Magnolia Roots. I printed out a bunch of copies for all of us so we can reference it during our filming. I felt like it did take a good amount of time because of all the editing, like rewriting, making sure that everything sounded real and comfortable and like a teenage girl would say. I feel like the script is one of the hardest parts of this process because it's just getting that idea and then creating these characters. But yeah, it's really cool to see it all come to life. What I recommend for the next step is to storyboard, where you draw out the visuals that you're looking for. Storyboarding involves sketching key shots of your film or finding inspiration images on the internet to show what's going on in those scenes visually. Think of it as panels of a comic book. Before filming starts, select your cast and crew. Since this is a zero-budget short film, ask your friends and family if they would like to volunteer.
Hi, I'm Monica. I'm Kylie. Hi, I'm Natalie.
No, no, what's your real name?
Oh, Morgan. I'm a character guy.
In fact, getting volunteers with no experience at all could be a great way for others to get a glimpse into the film industry. Next up is the actual production. To film, all you really need is a cell phone or any device with a camera. Be creative and don't limit the kinds of shots you can get just because you don't have a fancy professional camera. It's highly likely that you're going to run into some obstacles while filming, but don't give up when things go wrong. We just finished our first day of filming 2 scenes that are in the house. One of the hardest parts of today was just the amount of time it took. Originally the plan was for filming to be from like 10 to 1 for 2 scenes, and we ended up going from like 10 to 2 because there was a lot of like debating and like reshooting scenes. So it was definitely difficult because of how prolonged the process was. It was a little more than I expected. I feel like the shot where Natalie comes running in, that was one of the hardest shots to take because it's a lot of like running and then like the ground was shaking, all the tripods were shaking, and then it's a lot of like my idea was like the camera would follow them as they're running, so it was kind of hard to take because of like there's so much moving around, and then most of the other shots that we took were pretty much stationary and we wanted a little bit of variety, so it was like a bit different than what we did before. Moving on to post-production. If you have an Apple device, I love using iMovie because it is free and very easy to use and navigate for beginners. In addition to this, there's a plethora of editing apps on the internet that you can find super easily.
Hi, my name is Kaitlyn. I'm one of the editors for Miranda Short Film. I'm gonna try and vlog this experience so you can understand what we do on the side of editing. Here we have the first scene. Right now it's at, let's see if you can zoom in, 5 minutes and 26 seconds. The final scene won't be 5 minutes, but we'll cut it up and fix that a little later on. Here you can see all the clips that are just in scene 1, and once this is all done, then it should be much less than 5 minutes, and there will be audio and all the behind the scenes audio will be cut out so we can hear the cuts and we can hear each pause. Here we have our wonderful script that Miranda wrote right here for us, and this is how I reference what scene comes next, what goes up next. Here we have some editing notes, things that need to be added, things that need to be changed, mostly voiceovers that need to get done. There I am again, hi. As you can see, here we have each scene, scene 4 that needs to get stuff, scene 3 that needs to have some B-roll, scene 2, scene 1, just little things like that that need to get done and then added in. And soon we will have a final thing of Miss Miranda's short film. So thanks for tuning in, and I will get back to editing and we'll see you when the film's done.
Piecing together every clip might be pretty meticulous and time consuming, but it'll all be worth it in the end. After you have a rough cut complete with all of your videos in your editing software, finalize the edits of your content and move on to coloring and fixing sound issues so that the appearance and audio of your short film are more enhanced. Finally, share your finished piece. Before we interview my friend Sammy, please comment below what you thought about this video and check out my new short film.
Let's first talk about a big issue in the film industry. There's a huge lack of people who look like us on the screen and behind the cameras as well, especially in the most popular and highest grossing movies in the United States. So, Sammy, why is representation and diversity in the film industry important to you?
A lot of like mainstream media is like white influence, and I feel like as an Asian person who grew up watching like white people, I felt like I had to like follow their culture when really like I should be proud of my own culture. Having like Asian representation from an Asian perspective is very important so that like we feel like we have like our own just voice, because I feel like film is used to like use your voice and everything.
Now let's move on to how to create a short film. What do you think makes a short film successful?
The storyline is the most important thing. Mostly like you can have like cameras and stuff, like you need a good story to like make a good short film. Like you need a message that you want to like spread.
Can you walk me through the creative process? How do you come up with a concept and then build on that to form the finished product?
Well, for me specifically, I come up with the concept based on like real life situations. So like sometimes like literally like, during the day I would just like write down stuff that happened, and then like I would just be like, oh, this would be interesting for like a short film. So then you have an idea, and then you have to build up the idea, and you have to think of a beginning, a middle, and end, obviously. So basically, as long as you have a concept and then you like create a storyline throughout, that will be like your starting point. You really don't need that much like equipment. You really just need like your phone, and that's like it, because obviously like the bigger films have like cameras and stuff, but like you don't need those big cameras to start off. You can always start off with like your phone and just using like free programs like iMovie, and you just need an idea and like how you want to like show your ideas.
Approximately how long does it take to finish around maybe a 10-minute short film?
The planning takes a couple days, and the shooting can range from a couple days. And in post-production, you probably need like a day or two to edit a 10-minute short film. But again, this also depends on like the type of project you want to do, because some like 10-minute short films are like more like intense than others. Like it really depends on what you do. But I would say to like fully like plan it out and to like have a lot of time, I would say like a week.
For beginner filmmakers, what is one piece of equipment besides a phone that you would recommend them to buy?
A tripod, because a lot of the time like you don't want to like hold your phone, and like it just honestly is not like that stable. So like honestly like a tripod is the most important thing to me.
And finally, what advice would you give to young girls who are interested in pursuing a career in film?
You are going to like run into a lot of errors, so like don't let that discourage you, because obviously like films aren't going to be perfect, and your first film is not going to be perfect. So don't like focus on like it being perfect, just focus on it being like authentic and like being you, because like everyone is gonna like be judgy, but like just don't let it like stop you from like doing what you want to do, because obviously like all the best filmmakers didn't succeed their first time. It always took like trial and error. So don't let that discourage you and just don't give up.
I'm running her lines. Let me live. Oh. But I hope to finish.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Grab a pillow. No. Oh, we have to film her scream.
It's an Asian woman.
One of the best screenplays I've ever read. And even better than Kate Film.
The shade.